Babur is remembered as the father of the Mughal Empire, but his first victories nearly killed it. April 1526. The plain of Panipat shakes as elephants charge, tusks flashing in the dust. Cannon fire cracks across the field, and the Sultan of Delhi lies dead. A new power enters India. But beneath the triumph lies a fragile truth. Babur's empire was no empire at all. His victories dazzled Panipat, Khanwa, Chanderi, Gagra, yet his rule barely reached beyond his garrisons. The Rajputs resisted. The Afghans conspired. The East refused to bow. What he left his son was not a stable dynasty, but a conquest already close to collapse. Delhi burns. December 1398. Timur, Lord of Transoxiana, crosses the Indus and descends on the Tughlaq Sultanate. At Panipat, he smashes the Delhi army. Inside the capital, his men butcher civilians. Panic floods the streets as flames rise over the city. Timur does not stay. He plunders Delhi, installs a puppet, and marches home. To most, it looks like simple plunder. But for the Timurids, it plants a claim. Hindustan belongs by right to Timur's blood. It is a claim his descendants will never forget. Yet Timur's own empire cracks. After his death in 1405, his heirs quarrel and splinter. They cling to Samarkand and Herat, dazzling cities of art and learning, but fight endlessly among themselves. Their power shrinks. To the north, the Uzbeks rise. The Timurids, once conquerors, now live as embattled princes. This is the world Babur inherits, not a vast empire, but a fragment on the edge of collapse. 14 February 1483. Andijan, Fergana Valley. A boy is born, Zahir al-Din Muhammad, later known as Babur. By blood, he is both Timur and Genghis Khan. Among Turco-Mongol elites, lineage is power. By birth, Babur carries the legitimacy of conquerors. 1494. Disaster strikes. His father falls from the roof of his pigeon house and dies. At 11, Babur inherits the throne of Fergana. Instantly, rivals circle. Nobles scheme, relatives plot. At 14, Babur seizes his chance. He marches on Samarkand, Timur's glittering capital. The siege drags, famine gnaws at defenders, and finally the gates open. Babur rides in as a boy king, claiming the throne of his ancestors. But victory hides a cruel twist. In taking Samarkand, he has already lost his home in Fergana. This becomes Babur's curse. He wins Samarkand, then loses it. He retakes it, only to lose again. 1500, a new power explodes. Muhammad Shaybani Khan and the Uzbeks. They storm Samarkand, driving Babur out. The young prince rallies one last desperate attack in 1501. Shaybani crushes him. Babur flees into the mountains, a fugitive with only a handful of loyal men. 1501. He has lost Samarkand. He has lost Fergana. He has nothing left. Yet ruin opens a door. In Kabul, the Argan dynasty has torn itself apart. Nobles feuding, famine biting, the throne left unguarded. Babur crosses the Hindu Kush with only a few hundred followers. Kabul's factions crumble. The gates fall. In October 1504, the exiled Timurid seizes the city. For the first time in a decade, Babur holds a kingdom. Kabul gives him valleys, trade routes, and the passes into India. Yet the boy who dreamed of empire now rules only by chance. His victories glitter, but behind them lurks fragility. (1526) Panipat. One victory could make Babur master of Hindustan, or shatter the fragile dream of empire before it begins. The odds are against him. Ibrahim Lodi calls his governors. Nobles who despise him still march, fearful of losing their estates. Babur sees the division in his enemy, but he knows the truth. One collapse of nerve, one mistake, and his chance will vanish. At dawn, Babur chains his wagons into a barricade, leaving narrow gaps for his artillery. Behind them, gunners Ustad Ali Kuli and Mustafa Rumi Khan wait with powder and shot. Cavalry mass on the flanks, ready to encircle. The ground shakes. Ibrahim Lodi unleashes his elephants. The beasts thunder forward. Cannons roar. The elephants panic. They wheel, trampling their own lines. Babur strikes. His cavalry close like a noose. In the chaos, Ibrahim is crushed. The Sultan of Delhi falls beneath his own beasts. In a single day, the Lodi Sultanate is broken. Delhi and Agra open their gates. Babur proclaims himself Emperor of Hindustan, but victory breeds enemies. Most believe Panipat ends the struggle. In truth, it only begins greater dangers. Afghan nobles regroup in the east under Mahmud Lodi, brother of the slain Sultan. To the west, Rana Sanga of Mewar, the Rajput king of kings, forges a vast coalition to drive the foreigner out. At first, Sanga courts Babur, promising support for a Lodi puppet. But Babur sees betrayal. In March 1527, the two armies clash at Khanwa. Sanga commands 80,000 Rajputs and Afghan allies, twice Babur's force. Rajput warriors charge again and again. Babur's men falter. Desperation grips the line. Then Babur raises his sword. He declares himself a Ghazi, a holy warrior fighting for Islam. The cry spreads. Morale stiffens. His artillery fires in rhythm, ripping through Rajput ranks. By nightfall, Sanga lies wounded and carried from the field. The Rajput coalition crumbles. Mewar endures, but the dream of uniting against Babur is gone. Still, Babur does not rest. January 1528. He turns against Medini Rai of Chanderi, Sanga's ally. Babur offers surrender. Rai refuses. That night, flames rise inside the fort. Rajput women and children burn themselves alive rather than face capture. When Babur storms the gates, resistance is ash. The Rajput challenge breaks piece by piece. But in the east, danger grows. Afghan chiefs rally under Mahmud Lodi. Bengal joins them. Together they threaten to unmake everything Babur has won. 1529. At the confluence of the Ganges and Gagra, armies clash. Once again, Babur's cannon decide the day. Afghan and Bengali forces collapse. Bengal sues for peace. The frontier is secure. In 3 years, Babur has crushed Afghans, Rajputs, and Bengalis alike. From Punjab to Bihar, a new state rises, fragile but real. Yet its foundations tremble. For the empire Babur builds on dust and thunder is already slipping beyond his grasp. 1529. Victory carries Babur to Agra, Panipat, Khanwa, Chanderi, Gegra. In 3 years he has broken Afghans, shattered Rajputs, humbled Bengal. The exile prince now rules Delhi and Agra, Punjab and Bihar. At last he is master of Hindustan, but mastery is not the same as security. What Babur holds is not an empire, but a conquest stitched together by garrisons and fear. Rajputs still defy him in Mewar. Afghans still whisper rebellion in the east. Authority glitters, but beneath it lies fragility. Then comes the blow. Barely a year after Gagra, Babur falls sick in Agra. Dysentery, the chroniclers say. At the same time, his heir Humayun lies near death. A story survives. Babur enters his son's chamber. He circles Humayun's bed 3 times, praying aloud. He will take the illness upon himself. Soon after, Humayun recovers. Babur weakens. 26th of December 1530. Babur dies, aged 47. First, he is buried in Agra. Later, his body is carried to Kabul, to the gardens he had planted long before. A king who dreamed of Samarkand leaves his bones in Kabul and his throne in India. His story begins in ruin. A boy who lost Samarkand, lost Fergana, and wandered with nothing but a name. Yet by will and steel, he carved a realm that broke the Delhi Sultanate. In a few short years, he won what generations of Timurids could not, a throne in Hindustan. But the empire he leaves is no empire in truth. It is a conquest bound to one man's will. and when that man is gone, the future lies uncertain. Babur is remembered as the founder of the Mughal Empire, yet his reign reveals the paradox of founding. His victories created the chance for empire, but his death nearly destroyed it. The dynasty will endure, but only through fire, exile, and return. For the Mughal Empire, the story has only just begun.